Spencer, you want to do the prayer?
Yeah. Our Father in heaven, we come before thee this time, grateful for our many blessings, and we're grateful that we can have this group meeting. And we pray that thy Spirit may be with us throughout this discussion, that we may be edified and learn from one another. We are grateful for all that thou hast done for us and all of our many blessings, and we say this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
All right. I swear I have it pulled up. Just give me 1 second.
You are recording?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
I see it.
All
Vivo.
right. So, first, oh, look, Adam's here.
Hi,
All right.
Oh, there he is.
What is Armstrong's legacy?
Cheating.
He's a cheater.
I think that
He had all the potential in the world.
the creation of this new organization to make tests to the athletes, I think so, is one of the legacies of Armstrong's cheating. Legacies of the Armstrong's cheating. No.
Yeah.
I also think his legacy is the fact that like he won so many medals, like regardless of cheating or not, like that is what he's known for. And that was cheating, but
right. Well, and also it kind of made it sound like everyone else was cheating too. So
yeah, it was kind of like it was a normal.
So he was still freaking talented. He was still really, really good. He was the best cheater. I don't know, whatever you want to say.
Yeah, he developed a technique for cheating that and method. No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. Like, because the case with all the facts that listed, it made it sound like every single person was cheating, and so I was like, so what's being done to prevent that or catch them? But I just, in my opinion, in the long run, just with how he acted throughout the whole thing, throughout accusations and the denials that he made, I think that he just kind of defamed his own character.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably why so many people view him as a cheater, including myself. I think he just harmed his own reputation in the process.
I also thought it was interesting how, since they seemed like it was so normal, like no one brought it to attention, and like those who, like even his teammates who like weren't doing it or whatnot, like never said anything until the court date. Like that's kind of, why didn't you say something before, or when he won his first race and you knew he was doing it?
Because of money.
Yeah.
That's why. Because he gave him a lot of money. I bet.
A lot of money, the sponsors, all that.
Yeah.
My thing is, I would have had him sign something saying, like, you can't, testify against me in court or anything if anything were to happen. Like, just saying would have been smart.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Armstrong's organization organized and led what was perhaps the most famous and comprehensive cheating program in the history of sport. Who suffered from his cheating and what were the costs?
I think the sponsors suffer a lot. No, because the sponsor was connected with the image of Armstrong. No, and that makes normally when if you are an athlete and you have a sponsors, is because you are the image of the company. No, and your goal is to attract more revenues, more profit for the company, and then give you a check for that. No, I think that the damage was to the sponsors and the teammates of Armstrong. No, their careers.
Yeah.
I think the damage was his legacy. We talked about he won seven of the Tour de France's and now he hasn't, and that's because of his cheating. And it's funny, when I read the case study, I was on Lance Armstrong's side the whole time. There's this kind of ripped through baseball at like the same time it came through the Tour de France, this steroid and things like that. There are things you can buy at nutrition shops that you would test positive for in these tests, but they're over the counter. They're not prescription strength steroid testosterone boosting things. It's simple things that people are on every day just to go to work and function. They're used throughout everywhere.
Everyone.
And I really sympathize with Armstrong not having any testicles. He has no way of making his own testosterone. And had he filed certain things, they may have allowed him certain injections to be able to compete. But instead, he decided he'd do what he wanted. And obviously, if this was what they allowed, he was doing way above that. And so I don't know. But yeah, the sponsors lost in that. He lost his legacy. His team loses everything. His Peloton, who didn't make a lot of money, didn't have a lot of fame, boy, he really fed them to the sharks as soon as they started to say anything about it. And that's where I grew to hate him. By the end of the case study, I was like, man, this guy's a piece of work. He just throws everybody under the bus, and then he comes out on Oprah, and it's this big reveal. And I'm like, wow, what a prick.
Yeah.
You know, I also think that, like, his family is going to take a cost at it, too, because anyone with Lance Armstrong, or, like, the Armstrong last name now, you're going to be kind of looked at like, oh, are you a cheater, too? Because Lance was, so what makes you so different? Or is your whole family, like, you kind of just ruined your last name?
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of have a different perspective than most people on steroids and baseball. I actually, totally my personal opinion, but I don't mind it in baseball because I think it makes the sport more entertaining and it creates more home runs and throw faster pitches and recovery rates better and all that stuff. And I'm not a fan of racing, so I don't know if it makes them pedal faster or anything. But I'm kind of indifferent to him taking the steroids, but I just don't like how he covered it up so hard and so much. So that was my only problem.
Okay. It's fine.
All right. Were the other riders Hamilton and Landon? Were those who tested too loyal to Armstrong or not loyal enough?
I think they were too loyal to him. I don't know. I just kind of put myself in their shoes. I wonder if there was like the stipulation of, man, this guy had testicular cancer. Man, that really sucks. He's overcome it. Now he's like fighting all these things. He's doing I mean, it's really easy to like sympathize with the guy from that kind of point of view. But it's just like when it comes down to it, I think what he was doing was wrong. And I think that they knew what they were doing was wrong. Then they just lost sight of it. And in the long run, I think they were just too loyal to him when didn't keep the big picture in mind of what was really going on.
Well, in my opinion, I think that they were not loyal to Armstrong. They were loyal to the money and the things they achieved. For example, if we in the reading we read about the Hamilton, the part of the Hamilton. They start to separate of Armstrong and his team, and he started to be in another team. And then Armstrong go to the organization, and I don't know, the USDA. I don't know what organization, but he told that Hamilton was doing cheating,
Mm-hmm.
And I think they were loyal to Armstrong. They were loyal to themselves. No, I think that's my opinion.
I agree. I honestly don't think they were loyal enough. I mean, I'm just playing devil's advocate. But hear me out.
Surprise.
Okay, you know.
I'm just kidding.
Whatever.
Just kidding.
If you were like, I don't know, if you're getting paid off, and you're all for it. You know, you're all for the money. Why not just like? Obviously, it's wrong, but going against like, you know, if you're loyal to him, he means so much to you, and you can like understand why he's doing it. Why not just keep your mouth shut and just keep going, or like go to him and be like, hey, pay us off more, or you know, something. Kind of like he should have had him sign a paper saying, hey, you know, like this isn't going to get out. If it goes out, then it's a whole nother dilemma. Excuse me. But like, I don't see them being loyal. I don't think they were loyal enough.
So I would agree with that because the only reason he came forward was because he got caught. So once he was caught, he had nothing to hide, and there's that intrinsic value that Lance knew. If I get all of my team doing it, they're all doing it, and they're going to incriminate themselves if they go tell on me. So once those two were caught and tested positive, now they're like, well, wait a minute, your great hero does it. What I thought was messed up was when Hamilton left the team and Lance Armstrong ratted him out. They were having success, and he's like, oh, hey, there's suspicion he's doping. They come to him, find out he is, and he's like, whoa. Now, I don't know how they found that out, or if Lance would probably never admit to ratting him out. But that was where I don't know that they were loyal to him at all. They were trying not to get caught. And once they were caught, it was like, no, we're all doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like everyone for their own. What is it? What's it called? There's like a saying.
All for one and one for all, the Three Musketeers.
No. Like everyone's just out for themselves. At the end of the day, they all had their own agenda, and they knew it.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't really friends, but they were friends. Like they were acquaintances more than anything.
I think. Sorry, Spencer. Continue.
I was just gonna. This is kind of on the same thing, but I just remembered that it talked about how they bribed that government agency. What was that? I don't remember. But I guess it's a good point that it was just this huge effort to cover their tracks, and like you said, to not get caught. Kind of went to extreme measures there.
I do agree with Adam, though. I feel like they could have, like, he could have just like said something, and like the whole thing could have just like gone away, just like with him speaking, him saying, "Hey, you know, I can't produce myself. Like, what can I do?" Like, I feel like it easily could have been taken care of in the beginning and not been a huge ordeal.
Yeah, I think it's like the boat that is sinking, and all the rats wants to get out of the boat, no, and save in the best way they can, no, to save some reputation, some of the achievement they had in that moment, no, not so be damaged in your image, no.
So, kind of going on that, something that came to mind is like, he's still though super famous, but now he's super famous for two reasons. You know, for one, for winning all those, but then now for cheating, and he's still like, I don't know. He hurt himself, but in the same way he didn't hurt himself. If that makes any sense. Like he's still, you know, people still talk to him to this day. So at the end of the day, did he get what he wanted, or not?
Well, and I also had the thought that they took away his 7 championships, but they didn't take away his $270 million that he made over his career, and I don't know. that's not too bad,
right? Like you're still walking away with the money. Like you don't hold it anymore. But I mean, people still talk about you to this day. So how much damage did it actually do to you? Especially when you come out on national television and talk about it on Oprah, like, you're not damaged.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about the situation where you witnessed a leader, formal or informal, make a decision for others that made you uncomfortable. What was the situation? How'd you feel about it? Anybody want to share?
That's tough to come up with on the spot. I can't think of one right away.
I can share one. It kind of happened this morning at work. We do like a stand up where we all get together and like all the managers talk about what's going on for the day. And we're currently understaffed in nursing. And so we went like the ones they hired aren't great and they don't know their information like they should, and it's going to be like a huge ordeal if they actually get put into our company. And we watched our administrator kind of just like go for it, even though he knows that they shouldn't be brought in, and it's be a really bad situation if they were. And our directors of nurses even like brought it up and said, I don't have time to train them. You know, they're not great, this and that. And he's like, well, we have them. We're going to use them. And that's what it's coming down to. And it was like one of those things where like they were both going out and you're just kind of like, I think my mom's calling me. Like, I need to go. You know, kind of just like sitting there kind of just hoping the whole situation will die down.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Yeah, I had one. I that was I mentioned in my in the questions that I posted was when I was playing football in high school, and the head coach told me in the next play I need that you fake an injury, no, for make time, no, because we were in the last quarter of the game, no. I remember that was in that moment. I don't know how to respond to that. No, but when I was in the line with my teammates, I started thinking that was not a good idea to do that. No, but also because it was was a church school. No, all we were members. and one of them tell me, I need that you fake an injury, no? And that's fill me with a race sensation. I don't know how to describe, but was like a crush, no? Yeah, and then I need to decide in that moment. I didn't that, and the head coach punished me all the week training more than the others. But well, I think that it depends on the people now about the choices. Well,
Does anyone else want to share anything?
Nothing's coming to mind.
All right. Think about a situation where you witnessed talented followers following a leader into an uncomfortable or bad zone. What was the situation? What were the results? Did anyone object?
So I remember when I was in high school, my senior year at football camp, like I grew up in a small community where there's a lot of members of the church, but there's also people who aren't members of the church. Who are at football camp, and we're just kind of, laying around, just had a break, and one of my friends who's not a member of the church, he just started kind of harassing these freshman guys and just started like watching pornography with them, and like these freshman kids just followed, and I was just like, it was kind of shocking. I didn't really expect it, but and I don't know what the formal consequences were, but I'm sure it had deep effects in their life. These freshmen who are probably scared out of their mind of coming into high school, and here's the big bad senior who's like wanting them to view this stuff. And so I'm positive it had an effect on him, but it's just it's really easy to kind of get dragged into that, I suppose, when you're in the presence of leader and you're trying to impress someone or follow in someone's footsteps.
Yeah.
I have one, but it's kind of more like the typical like high school scenario where you're incoming freshmen who are just out of middle school, and oh my gosh, looking back now, I feel bad for when I was a middle schooler, and I'm just like, I was never this bad. No, but we were all that bad. And you kind of get into like high school, and you're like, oh, you're going to your first high school party, and there wasn't a lot of like Mormons where I grew up, and so obviously like at the high school party, like the parents are gone, everyone has booze out and everything. I remember where I had friends who they were like, oh, I don't like to drink, so I'm not going to drink. And I was like, oh, cool. Like, we're going to be great friends. And then, they get invited to the cool kid party. And then you hear just like, because of like the high school, like the football person or the cheerleader invited you and you want to fit in. And so you go and you get smashed. And then, then you have now reputation at school. Like, oh, this freshman, wants to drink and do all this other stuff. In reality, they're just trying to fit in, be a cool kid.
No, I have the same. I have the same situation when I was in high school too. Some friends invited me to a party after the school. Obviously, this school was of the church school, and we need to follow the honor code like BYU Idaho, no? It's very similar, well, not the same, but also is the rules of the church, no? The code. I remember that. I thought that time that after training, I go to the party, no? But I rethink the things and rethinking the things. Sorry, and I say, oh, maybe it's better to go home, no? And the day after. Well, sorry, that was a Friday. Then the Monday that we were that I attended the school, in my classroom were like 15 boys, 20 boys, but we are only 3 boys in that moment. No?
Whoa.
And from other groups in the high school, also were a few boys and a few girls. And what happened is that in that party. They were doing bad things like smoke, see many things like pornography, drink, and all some of others were in the rooms, all that kind of things, and they were expelled. No,
yeah.
I remember, and we only left three boys in a class where we were 40. No,
that's insane.
Yeah,
Jeez.
that was a very in that time I thought, what a lucky guy I am.
That's
Good
right.
friends too. Yeah.
Yeah, my friends too. Yeah.
Aren't you glad we're all adults now and can make adult decisions?
Yay.
Drink Dr. Pepper all I want.
Anyone else want to share anything?
Just go ahead.
6:30. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, there's always the example of the missionaries who might not be the most obedient missionaries ever, and if for whatever reason they get a new companion like a greenie, it's not a good start for a missionary, and sometimes it leads them down the wrong path. But yeah, that was it. Go ahead.
Adam, did you have to leave by 6:30?
No, I told him I'd be late, so we're good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just didn't want you to be late if you had to go.
No, we're good. It's a parent meeting for a traveling baseball team that I coach for my 12-year-old.
Oh, cool.
So I'm learning how to pressure in all these people, to pressure them to do things that they don't want to do. So this is good.
Yeah.
You can relax.
Yeah.
We should have just used you as an example.
Yeah. See, I work in a little bit different environment, and so I don't get a lot of peer pressure to do certain things, and that's the one thing that peer pressure is one thing. This is a little bit different. This is these guys' livelihood, and Lance ran this group, and it was him that picked his teammates. And if they did not participate in his blood doping program, they were out of a job, and they were off of the most popular, most aggressive championship team ever assembled. And so, I mean, that's a big deal.
You literally just brought an idea to me by like how you said that. It's kind of, in a way, it's kind of like a cult. And Lance is kind of like the one who led it. You know, you do what they say, you're going to follow the rules, and if not, there's going to be consequences. And lo and behold, there were consequences for everybody. All right. Next one. We're almost done, by the way, guys. So
Sweet.
in an hour, but we're about to be done. What basic? Wow, sorry. It's Thursday and it's almost Friday. Forgive me. What basic principles guide your integrity? Are there times when they're in the gray area? How do you choose correctly?
So that was a good question. And when I was answering the questions for the post, the story that came to my mind is I remember I was taking B211 from what was his name? I just forgot his name. But anyways, he's this great guy. He's a very successful business, like work experience. But he's also a bishop here on campus. And he put the situation by us. He's a bishop, and they had like Ward Temple night. And on that same night, his like 12-year-old kid had some kind of concert. And so he's like, so what's the right thing to do? He's like, because he has his responsibility to his flock, or like the people that he presides over, and but he also has a responsibility to his family. And what he said was that he didn't go to Temple night, and he went to his kid's concert, and he said that the filter that he uses is heaven smiling down. And so that's always kind of stuck with me when you're kind of navigating those gray waters of like you're not really sure exactly what is the right thing to do or whatnot. But I think that's something I'll always keep in mind is heaven smiling down in the decisions that we make.
Oh, okay. I think in the case that you mentioned, Spencer, that's why a bishop needs to learn to delegate, some responsibilities, in order to attend his family. Because if we like a church say that the family is the center of the gospel, we can have bishops that are divorcing, or families that are separate. I think that is why the bishop needs to learn how to delegate to the people that is with him, in the organizations. I think that always are gray areas in our lives. Sometimes if we do all well, we hear, we like the people, the knock people, we were translated, or took it out of the earth. But I think that that's when we need to be very how to say, carefully with our actions and in the way that we think that the manner that we are to handle or manage some situation, and maybe sometimes we are going to make mistakes, but that's the good thing of the life, that you can learn a lot of things in order to don't do that again. I think so.
Yeah, thanks.
So as a teenager, I had to it was hard for me to get up on Sunday morning to go to church because we had 8 a.m. church or 9 a.m. church, 8 to 9. Anyways, it was really early as a teenager. That was like super early. Especially when you're hanging out with friends late on Saturday. And I remember something was shared in like girls' camp or something. Not that you guys would know what girls' camp is, but anyways, we'll probably say that we do. And it was said that like some leader had a daughter who didn't like going to church on Sunday, and so she'd go into her room and ask her, "Are you going to church?" And she'd say no, and her mom would walk out and say, "Well, I guess the devil's happy."
Whew.
And every Sunday, like since I heard that, I would like remind myself, "Well, I guess the devil's happy," and I'm like, "Yep, nope, time to go to church." So, like, anything that like I have to do that's like good and like I gotta sacrifice something, or like I gotta sacrifice something that's like not important, but like we all think it's like super important, it's the end of the world.
Mm-hmm.
I just like remind myself that, and I'm like, you know, who am I at the end of the day? Who am I making happy? Like, then it's helped me a lot throughout life. So it's kind of like this heaven smiling down on you goes in like hand in hand. Like, who are you
Yes.
at the end of the day?
Yeah, I agree.
I also think of by your fruits you will know them. So when we venture into the gray area and maybe possibly like, all right, are we making a decision that we're maybe justifying our things? What maybe could be thought of our fruits and what we're doing? Do people recognize that I am a God-fearing man and that I have beliefs and morals that drive me? Or, I mean, am I looked upon as like, yeah, he's kind of a convenient Christian? So,
Yeah.
anyways.
I'm definitely not as work as like the Mormon, because like a lot of people like cuss and stuff, and like it's like under wraps. So like you can't do it in front of a patient or in front of a resident or anything, and they'll be like, "Oh, you don't have to worry about her. She's Mormon. She's good." And I actually like being, you know, referred to as the Mormon. Like, yep, you know, like I'm not gonna get in trouble. Sucks to be you guys. I used to like hate being referred to as the Mormon, and now I'm just kind of like, I guess it's something that like not defines. I mean, defines me, but it doesn't define me. Like, it's one of those things.
Yeah, I understand.
It's like you guys understand girls' camp.
Yeah, exactly. So, I guess it's my turn. So I don't know the exact story, but the parts of the story that's coming into my head is the example of like there's like a grandpa and like two sons that are driving, and the youngest son's grandson says like, "I bet you that I could drive as close to the edge as possible without going over," and he drives like 5 feet away from the edge. Then the next one up says, "I bet you I can get even closer to the edge," and he drives like within a foot of the edge. And then the grandpa tries it, and he drives like in the opposite direction of the cliff, because he's the smartest one and tries to avoid the cliff in general. So we might as well not even flirt with the gray area and just try to be as safe as possible.
I like that a lot. I think I'm gonna steal it from you.
I totally made up like half of it. I don't know the exact storylines, but
I know
close enough.
the story that I know what you're talking about.
All right, well, I'm definitely stealing that. All right, last question. How will you personally measure your life? How will you measure success?
I've gotten a lot of these type of questions throughout my college career, and the way that I always answer them, and whether I get a good grade or not, my true and honest answer is whether or not my family is happy, whether or not I've taught my kids well, and I've spent quality time with them and taught them the gospel. That's how I measure, how I do currently and how I will measure success, not how much my net worth is or what my current job position is with my company, but family life.
I agree. I remember I was talking to someone and they're like, "Oh, we have a big house, we have all this stuff," and I was like, "Well, that's great." I was like, "But are you actually happy?" Like,
Yeah.
all those things can only, make you happy for so long. And I remember having a conversation with my grandpa before he passed away, and he was like, "It doesn't matter what you have or how big of a house you have. At the end of the day, as long as you are happy, your family's happy, and you're happy on like where you're headed in life, then forget everyone else. It doesn't matter what anyone thinks of you. As long as you are personally happy with life and you're doing what you know you should be doing, then, you have a great life. Like at the end of the day, your bills are paid, your house, like your bills are paid, your kids are fed, you're fed.
Yeah.
You're doing something right. Like
now if you're able to also have a lot of money on top of all that stuff, then
you're definitely doing something great.
And that's great. But
yeah, but it's not like
it isn't a requirement.
No.
Adam's just back there like, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I honestly think that success finds you when you're happy. And if you find happiness in what you do, success will find you. And I got to admit, one of my really good friends is a seminary teacher. And we served in the young men together, and we had a young man go on a mission, come home after a year, and we took him to lunch. And we're talking to him, one of the hardest things to do is going to be to go back out. And we were talking like, hey, it's your decision, but you also need to start planning for your future. You're an adult. And we had the comparison of one another, and it was actually the seminary teacher that mentioned it. He goes, hey, the difference between him and I is he goes to work at 5:30 in the morning with his head down, driving a really nice pickup, and I go to work whistling and enjoying the day in my 1987 Honda Civic. And so it really kind of affected me, and I thought, man, do I complain about what I do that much that is how other people view me? Because I think the answer was yes. And so I've tried to change my outlook, and so many times we do measure success by material things, money and status. And sometimes that status is measured by how big is your boat, how many toys do you have in the garage, and things like that. And that's not true happiness. And in fact, one of the most successful guys I know is probably, the millionaire next door that you never know how much he's worth. I mean, the things that this guy was able to accomplish, and yet his wife drives a car that has 150,000 miles, and I think he owns it. They drive one of those big Quest vans because he's priced out a Suburban. They're insane. And
super.
Just so his success comes because people like him and how happy he is. It's contagious. And I really honestly, within the last 3 years, it's really been a big change for me. Just trying to find that happiness that we all want. Everybody wants it, right? You want your kids to find it, and you don't want them to think the importance is in the wrong place because of, hey, Dad, I follow what you did, not what you said.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you have to, and I guess it's more for women, you have to accept who you are, accept your flaws, be happy with just who you are as a person and better yourself. Don't go out and do something because someone else said you should. Do it because you actually want to, or be your best self. I think at the end of the day, is as long as you're happy with who you are, then you're gonna find success. But if you're not happy and you complain all the time and you're not like you're just kind of like, I hate my life, I hate this and that about myself, then you're definitely not going anywhere. You're not thinking you're successful, and then everything that you do think is successful is going to be out of your league.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with all of you. I really think that, well, in this moment for me, how to measure the success of my life is just be with my parents, help them, doing the things that I like, and enjoy the things that I have in this moment. Maybe I are not all the things that I thought for a future, but like Hillary said, you need to accept the things that you have, but also at the same time, you need to have that how you say that courage to seek uh, not to be more happy, or more or be more successful. No, it's the to maybe it could be to be a better person each day, to improve the things that you maybe do bad in the past day, and I think that is why the leaders of the church tell us always about pray, because when we pray in our rooms, or yes, in our rooms or in our houses, then we can think about the things that we did in the all the day, and maybe we can find the things that we need to improve in ourselves,
Yeah.
I think that each day is an opportunity for to be happy. And for example, in my case, I'm happy to be alive, no, and that is maybe the small things and the simple things are the best things that you can enjoy. For example, my parents in this moment are alive. I like to enjoy them, and I'm preparing for have my own family,
Mm-hmm.
that are the things that make me happy in this moment, and
Good.
I think I feel good with that. Maybe I don't have like that, like Adam said, or about his companion or this person that he knows. Uh, Maybe I don't have the car of the year, no. Maybe I don't have the millions of dollars for spending the things that I want, but to have that blessings in my life is the way that I can happy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Amen.
Right.
Something came to mind, like while he was saying that, and it's when someone passes, you don't think about what they bought you or what they had. You think about the moments you had with them, the conversations and the small things with them. You don't ever think of, oh, well, they bought me this. Or, I mean, like you do, but not necessarily. It's not meaningful to you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's like something to like measure success is like, how many moments did you impact someone's life, or did someone impact your life? All right, well, that's it. We're out of questions.
Nice.
Good job.
I'm going to stop the broadcast.
Okay.